Hello, this is Aaron Munns, the Veterans Director at the Mesothelioma Center at Asbestos.com. This is the second in a series of 4 videos for veteran service officers to provide information about how to develop asbestos-related disability claims for the veterans you're assisting. In this shorter second portion, we're going to talk about the decision criteria that the VA uses for asbestos-related claims, and this is straight out of the M21-1. Nothing is presumptive for asbestos claims. You have to prove both the medical connection to the diagnosis that the veteran is suffering from and how it's connected to asbestos, as well as proving that the majority of their military exposure to asbestos occurred while they were serving on active duty and not before or after their service. The first is having a valid diagnosis. For the list of diseases that the VA recognizes, please see video number 1, the components of asbestos diseases. For any other diagnosis other than mesothelioma cancer, both pleural mesothelioma, which affects the lining around the lungs, peritoneal mesothelioma, which affects the lining around the abdominal organs, or asbestosis, which is interstitial pulmonary fibrosis caused by asbestos. For any of the diagnoses other than those 3, the VA requires a nexus statement from a medical specialist stating that asbestos is the cause of the diagnosis. Part 3 of this series will cover nexus statements. They also have to prove that the majority of their lifetime exposure to asbestos occurred during military service. We accomplish this by writing detailed asbestos exposure summaries as part of a statement in support of claim. Part 4 of this video series covers asbestos exposure summaries. When your veteran meets both of these criteria, the VA is going to first try to determine whether or not the service records demonstrate that the veteran was exposed to asbestos during their service in the military. The VA primarily looks at the MOS, or job rating of the veteran, off of the DD-214, but will not dig any deeper to do any research to establish or corroborate whether or not they likely had exposure to asbestos or how much they had. It's up to you and the veteran you're assisting to provide all of that information. I've worked with well over 1,400 veterans in this capacity to help them with these exposure summaries. So if you have any questions or need help researching, please contact me or my office and I can help. You also have to ensure that the development is accomplished to determine whether or not the veteran was exposed to asbestos either before or after service. In Part 4, the exposure summary class, I'll explain how to do this, but basically you have to explain what the veteran did before their service and what they did for work after their service to show that they had more exposure while on active duty. You also have to determine whether or not a relationship exists between exposure to asbestos and the claimed disease. This is where the nexus statement and providing supporting medical research studies can accomplish this. If you're working with a veteran who has a rare disease or a disease that is challenging to connect to asbestos, you can contact me. I've done a lot of research on this, and I may be able to provide some supporting medical evidence to assist you and the veteran you're working with. To contact me, you can reach me by phone, by email, or at our veteran outreach at asbestos.com email. You can also go to our website, vetoutreach.com, to request book packets for your office and materials and resources to assist veterans. Please view Parts 3, Nexus Statements, and Parts 4, Asbestos Exposure Summaries for additional information.